I am Anna Olsen here on Insights into Consciousness here on A1R Radio. I'm here every Thursday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time and 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And you can reach me on my website, bottom of the screen, Anna Olsen, Intuitive, Olsen, 2 N's in Anna. So today I am really having my attention drawn to synchronicity and signs. So when we talk about synchronicity and signs, it's a really kind of generic way of describing something that happens with people when they experience something that happens at just the right time, in just the right way, or a repetitive sign of something. Even before this show started, the producer and I were joking around about a little moth that was flying around the screen. And I was kind of swatting at it, but that was the second moth I've seen today. So what I'm going to do today, and that also cued me again to bring up the moths that I've been seeing today. Usually people see a bug or a moth or a bird or a, whatever it is, snake, or anything that you come across in nature, or even a theme, a word, and they don't think much of it. When you pay attention to these synchronicities and you look deeper into the real true meaning behind it, we can figure out some things that our guides, our angels are trying to tell us. And basically that will lead us into either answers for our current questions, or it will lead us into deeper learning. And that's really what I want to focus on. Another part of that is that oftentimes our loved ones who have passed or our pets who have passed will talk to us through these different types of synchronicities. And that's what I want to focus on today. What would be the meaning of the moth? Well, we know that it's similar to a butterfly in some ways. They kind of look the same. They're usually smaller, but they have a sort of a cocoon period where they go from a larvae into a little chrysalis, and then they hatch. So when you think about a butterfly or a moth, what happens? There's a transformation symbol or sign that's involved with the chrysalis, the transformation. And we see this everywhere in nature, where we can get a message from nature for our own lives. And when I think personally of the moth and what could that mean? Well, I believe that a butterfly, the bigger it is, the more transformation you're going to have in your life and the more freedom that you're going to have in your life when you think about those wings and the wingspan and the moth or the butterfly just flying free after the transformation. I'm getting from the moths today that it's symbolic of a smaller transformation in my life. So when we look at these animals, bugs, what have you, we look at the deeper meaning behind it. Sometimes it helps to find either by a book, or you can find a good website. It has to be good and reputable, and it has to really hold true meaning for you every time you look at it. But you can find websites that will have the meanings to spirit animal meanings, or animal meanings, or meaning of a moth. Sometimes you can look it up under totem or things like that, and it will tell you the meaning of that particular bug or bird or whatnot. And then on another personal plane, we may have certain specific animals that a loved one liked when they were alive, and we'll see it somewhere and we will be reminded of them. That we start to notice that they're in all these places at opportune times, and that we're really feeling like we're getting messages from that loved one. Sometimes you'll be having an especially rough day, or you'll be missing them even more than usual. And you'll see that sign and probably not think much of it, or maybe you will. But some people who are, in grief will not really think much of it. And then they'll see another one somewhere else, or they'll hear somebody say something about that specific animal or sign. And here we have synchronicities where God is remaining, to put it, until to actual incidents, the way people put it. So we are dealing with this from spirit, where we can get a message or a confirmation, or even perhaps a validation. We are being paid attention. Our feelings are valid, and that is very important, especially at the level, need that confirmation and that. So I wanted to go into some of the meanings of, like, the butterfly would be transformation. For one of the symbols or the meanings of the, let's have, or had it, it was somebody I was my little lizards, and they would bring them in what I found, and then we'd have to talk about respect for animals, and the lizard may be scared, and that sort of thing. But what it was for a person that I did a reading one time is that was a sign from their past mother, just acknowledging them, acknowledging when they were little, and she had been able to spend more time with this person. And so every time this person would see lizards, they would be reminded of their past mother and know that their mother, that was a very close time for them and everything with their mother. So, and that their mother was acknowledging them. So that is another example. Birds, butterflies, hummingbirds are common. Doves, specifically for some folks. I've had one reading where I was talking about this woman's past father, and suddenly a dove landed literally right in back of me, outside of an open door in the building where I was doing the reading. So there are many different types of signs, symbols, and synchronicities that we can pay attention to. Now, when we have synchronicities of noticing a certain theme repeatedly, that is another type of synchronicity. So when you have a theme, for example, when we're out in nature and we're noticing we're either noticing something that's like a sign of, let's say a caterpillar. You see a caterpillar repeatedly. That is sometimes a sign that somebody is on their journey to find what will help them grow and transform. Okay. So this can go in every sort of direction, and it's just special and unique to the person who is doing the sign, who is noticing the sign, who's all encompassed by these synchronicities, and it will ring true for that person each time. So it's not the same for each person. And this is why when people ask many questions about readings, or when we do readings and we get these, I always tell them that it's different for everyone, and that everybody has a sign or a symbol for them that they will find the meaning. It will make sense. Will hit them. They understand this, and then it feels very normal, and that they really acknowledge it, and it feels very natural to them. So this is very, very common among people. And they usually don't talk that often, because when we sit down, with just or with friends or whatnot, we don't usually go into it that much. Some people do. Some people are much more private about it, but it is much more common than one would think. So signs and synchronicities, we're all delving into things happening at just the opportune time, such as somebody showing up at just the right time, or calling at just the right time. If you've had a really rough time or a really rough day, and suddenly you get a call or a text from somebody who means a lot to you, just check, saying, "You mean a lot to me, I miss you." That is a perfect synchronicity. It doesn't happen, though, all the time. Try not to get too discouraged. Really special things, and that is why we are so away when they do happen. Low plants, flowers, even different types for some people. These are all synchronicities. They're synchronistic. They're up in the person in some way, shape, or and everybody has a story, and everybody has a different unique type of synchronicity. And the symbolism is so important. It I don't want to say it's another dimension, but it definitely is something that is not, doesn't feel like this. It doesn't world. It feels better and more peaceful. And it should never be scary. It should be very, very peaceful. It should give us just comfort and joy and make you laugh, or it should be playful. And these are things that are not just comforting when people are grieving, but it's also something that will help lead us along our journey actions. I get a sign or symptom that, like, let's say deja vu. Deja vu is on my terms and the way that I understand it. Deja vu is a sign that you're on the right track. You are in the right direction. You're going in the right direction. Science and anatomical terms and doctors may say that is just a chemical reaction. Yes, there is a chemical reaction in the brain that happens with all of these instances, synchronicities, deja vu. However, spirit and body are mixed. They are all connected. I wouldn't even say mixed. I would say more connected. So when we are experiencing deja vu, yes, there is a chemical reaction in the brain. There is an actual measurable change in the brain if you MRI the brain at that point. However, that is all to the spiritual realm. That is all connected to spirit. And when we try to explain away these things with science, it's silly, because like I'm looking at is the explanation as to why it's working spirit. FYI, for your also drugs, pharmaceuticals, even herbs, they affect us physically. They are spiritually. The even like extra sensibilities sometimes, and you have to be real careful. Drugs, that are either addictive or they like, just strange experiences, or people say they can taste music or colors. So, just really want to reiterate, though, that when we are in that place, it's kind of like somewhere where you can get stuck if your brain is too altered permanently physically. So you want to be very, very careful with any substances that you put in your body. And we know, even as in science and in the psychology realm, that when people begin to drink or do drugs or that sort of thing too early in life, they can be stunted, and they don't grow emotionally or even mentally, or sometimes even their intelligence does not continue to develop unless they substances and have to kind of start over. So we need to be really careful about what we put in our body. We need to be really careful about how we treat our bodies, that we're not having reactions that will permanently alter not just our body, but also our spirituality in that realm. Because it's all connected, and we want to do as much as we possibly can in this life to learn and grow and to continue. This is just something that I really, really felt to go over, and I'd love to hear you experience with your synchronicities. You can reach me on my website down below, and you can go into me, and you can see if you'd like to appointment with me. I'd love you. Love to work something out. I also work out monthly appointments with people, and I work with people either weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. People work with me just every three months. So I'm going to take a caller tonight. We always read the air, and I have Jamie on. Jamie, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Just fine.
That's good.
Do you have a specific question to
No, I
focus
don't.
on tonight?
Okay. I do not have a specific question.
Okay.
I just whatever you get.
Just breaking up just a little. Go ahead.
I said I want just whatever you get.
Okay, great. First of all, that you basically, thing that I'm getting is a type of, I was just actually about transformation, about kinds of transformation, small transformation or big transition, and for you, that, like, through the transformation, and that may be kind of could be like a really change in, or it could be some trauma. It could be a really difficult you're having right now.
I'm sorry, what'd you ask?
Are that there's a period going on right now that can either look like trauma or it can look like difficulty, or it could be that you've already come out of a difficulty. Or
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm seeing right now that there's this kind of a difficult situation going on right now, that things were a little better before, and now it's kind of segueing into a little bit of difficulty. And what I'd like to really, when we go through these things, and we all go through it, everybody has to deal with it, and it's just part of life, difficult, but there's two things that it does. One thing that it does is and we don't fully appreciate the good when it's good unless we have experienced, unfortunately, some sort of bad. And when I say that, I mean it in a way of, it's just a way to think positive moment when you're dealing with a lot of transition or things that may hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we are going through these really difficult times, and it feels like life is getting worse, really, it's that life is, it's going to show us how good the good really is. And when you get out of doing all of that spiritual work, it will manifest into something much better.
Okay.
So, yeah. And, I just feel like I'm feeling a lot of withdrawal with you lately.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's been difficult for you lately. And again, I'm seeing the cocoon, like it's time to kind of, it's okay to withdraw, and it's okay to kind of distance yourself from certain people, but especially toxic people. You want to get away from toxic people, and you want to get really close to people who you feel better after you've been with them. And you really want to continue to be around those people that make you feel good, however that is.
Yeah, I have one.
That's good. And, I'm feeling also like you have a sense of humor, or you like people with a sense of humor. You love with people, and that's really therapeutic for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be something to focus on too. If you like to watch comedies, or, that will help you just to heal and kind of pull you out of whatever it is that you're dealing with right now. And, I just really want to focus on the fact that it'll get better.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Do you see anything in my future?
Let me look at that. Oh, wow. Future, I see tremendous growth. And you know what? I have to say that, I'm kind of feeling like there's a little bit of maybe a depression at the moment, but you'll come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say depression, the first inclination that I have is, if you were my child, let's say, I would want to comfort you. Like, you're in a situation where you need nurturing.
Yes.
And I just really feel like it's sort of, people become more angry at themselves when they don't have nurturing, because what happens is downward spiral within the psyche where they feel like they're not being nurtured. They need that inherently. They need that deep down. And if they don't get it, what they start to do is become hateful towards themselves. And that's what I don't want to see with you. I don't want to see that. I want to see you, again, being around the people that make you laugh, anybody that makes you laugh, comedy, things that are fun. Do you have like a morbid sense of humor?
A what?
Do you have like a morbid, it's called a morbid sense of humor, or like you kind of laugh at things that are kind of dark, but they're funny?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. And so that's okay, but I would also like to see you kind of go more into like the positive things that can make you laugh, a little bit more like the cleaner things, but that's okay. Anything that will make you laugh is great. The future, I'm seeing you're going to have huge growth. So, if you think about as below, so above, or as above, so below, there's a shadow to everything. There's a shadow cast by everything on the earth. For every light, there's something dark. And I just want you to realize that despite how dark things are and how deeply dark it is right now, that there's a negative. If you think about a negative for a picture, like back in the day when they would use film and they would have negatives to develop pictures, everything on that negative that was light would need to be dark, and vice versa, so that they could print it out to be a regular picture, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly how we as human beings are. So everything that's dark right now has a light to it that is exactly the same measure. So as dark as it gets, that is also as light as it will get. And that's what I want to draw your attention to, is that it can get better. And depression is not something that is necessarily always forever, especially if you do the things that help you specifically to get out of it and to really heal from it. But to also feel it, go ahead and get through it and feel it, because it's telling you something. You need to feel these things, and then we kind of pull ourselves out of it. And we can heal from depression like any other thing that needs to be treated. If you break your wrist, you go to the doctor and they reset it and they heal it. If you don't ever go to the doctor and you don't ever do anything about it, guess what? Your wrist is going to still probably be broken, or it might heal wonky so you can't turn it right, and you'll be permanently like that. But depression is like anything else. It's very fixable. It's very healable. It is a process, of course, kind of like when your bone will heal, you have the cast on. It takes, however many weeks to heal. And sometimes they have to bring you back in and put some pins in there, do some, kind of tweaking it or moving things around, but it can always be healed. It's just the same as a virus or other things, similar to like a virus. Like if you have the flu, you'll heal, right? You get better. So those are the things I want to draw your attention to. And I just want you to know that it will get better, that you're going to grow exponentially. You're going to come out of this. I feel like in 10 years from now, you're going to be a completely different person. And if you were to see yourself in 10 years from now, and you saw a picture of yourself in the way that, not just the way you look, but the way that your life is, you will be a different person for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of these things that you're going through right now, and all the things you have gone through, all the traumas, they will have built you into this amazing, strong person with all these skills that can help other people and your people closest to you, your family. And not only that, but you're going to be able to have like a pretty badass way of being, and you're going to do it well. You're going to be able to defend yourself very well because of your strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
So I have 2 minutes and I'm going to need to close now, but thank you so much for calling. And if you would like to schedule with me, or you would like to contact me, my website's on the bottom of the page.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, hon. Have a great night.
You as well.
Thank you. So we have, it was interesting because I started pulling cards, and I didn't, heard from this person before, and I just got all this pain. There's a ton of pain and things that were happening that were very sad. It made me feel very, very sad to feel this through this person. And the thing about readings is that when I do them and we bring up all this stuff, we move the energy. And what happens after that is people begin to get better quickly. And that's what I love about doing readings. We move their energy up and out. The things that I'm saying to them, it's kind of bouncing back and forth with their energies. And what we do is we heal, we get better, we grow. And I just want to show real quick that this is the depression that I saw. This is the card that I pulled that I saw the depression and the self-hate. And this is the card that I drew for the future, for the growth, the exponential growth. So the black tree was the past, like the bottom of the iceberg kind of, under the water, submerged, trapped. And this tree grew, I see this tree as growing up and out, and it's colorful and it's bright and it's beautiful, and the future is amazing. So that's my time for tonight. I wish that I could do 10 more readings tonight, because I just love what I do and I love people, and I just really hope that you can always reach me on my website, give me some contact, email me. I do classes, I do one-on-one coaching, and I do readings. I would love to work with you. Contact me and listen to me next week on Thursday. I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.